Hey guys, it's Erin, Happily We Go, and I am so excited to be back with another PB Tuesday. I've had a couple people ask about the stitching on my journal, and I'm thinking they mean the cover stitching, just the stitching here and on the pockets, and then how to put it together. So I am going to put a very basic tutorial together, so if you're interested in that, be watching for it. But now we're going to flip through here, and we are near the middle of the journal. Can you believe it? There's the stitching. Ah, it's the middle. So I would like to work with these two pages today. So let's see what we can create together. So I'm just going to grab a piece of scrap paper here, well, a piece of copy paper, and I'm going to throw that in the middle because I want to grab a brayer today, and I just got this brayer a little bit ago. It's super foamy and spongy and squishy, and I love how it moves paint around. But we're going to do it super loose and easy today, and I'm going to throw down just some warm gray. I'm actually loving this color so much. It works really great with skin tones and stuff too for portraits, so if anyone's interested. I will put everything that I used today down in the description box below so you can find all of the goodies there. So now that we have that on, I'm going to grab some gray paint, and this is just some cheapo stuff from Michaels, and I want to create almost like a stone effect. Now, the wonderful thing about this brayer is if you keep brayering with the paint kind of wet, it'll pull up the bottom layers, and it just gives it sort of this almost jelly printed look. But it's wonderful, so we're going to do that. Now, I have this scrap piece of paper, and in my head, I want to do these gates that are going to open. So I have this wonderful die cut, and I just took this scrap piece of paper to make sure that it would fit, and now I'm just going to throw down some paint. I'm going to speed this up here because you can make your gates whatever color you want, and I assure you this is going to get super ugly looking, but when you cut it out, it will be beautiful. So again, everything I use will be down in the description box below. Now we're just going to brayer, and have fun getting messy. Now you want to make sure you do both sides of your paper. So here it is, all dried, and I have my die, and we're going to run it through my machine. But who has time for that? Ta-da! There we go. So this is what it looks like when it's all cut out. Isn't that beautiful? We have both sides painted. It's got a bit of a shimmer to it. And now I'm just going to kick it up one more notch by adding a little bit of the Finnabair wax, and this is almost like a gilding paste. You could skip this step, or if you had some gold or brass or whatever color kind of metallic paints, you could totally kind of sponge a little bit of that on just to give it a little bit more of a shimmer. Now we're going to bring our book back here. Our pages are mostly dry, and I want to add some texture behind our gates, because you know those stone walls that usually have the fancy gates that open. I have these wonderful texture pastes from Finnabair, the Art Alchemy, and today I want to use the concrete one. I love this one. It's like super gritty. It has little black dots in it, which I guess gives it more of like a stone effect. And then I'm going to use this Tim Holtz brick stencil, and we're just going to stencil that onto both sides of our little journal pages. Now, if you don't have this texture paste, just use any texture paste. You don't have to go out and buy anything specific. You could just take a regular texture paste and kind of tint it a gray, which would be beautiful. Or you could even leave it white, like a whitewashed stone work. That would be beautiful as well. And now that it's all dry, look at that. Isn't that just wonderful? I love the look that that texture paste gives. So wonderful. So now I want to brighten it just a little bit, and I'm going to take this Derwent XL charcoal stick and I'm going to run it over the top of both of these pages. Now I was talking about whitewash before and I thought, oh, that would be brilliant, so I'm going to bring a little bit of that into it. I'm just taking a dry brush and I'm kind of pushing it into the nooks and crannies here. And then I'm going to take a wet brush and just dab it over the top of it. I'm not going to overly saturate it, but this kind of helps the charcoal set, and then we don't have to put any sort of fixative or anything on it. So now let's bring our beautiful gates back in, and we're going to figure out where we want to set them on the page. Now if you have it exactly even, you're going to notice it's going to fall into the center of the book, and we don't want that. So if your pages are like mine and they're a little bit wonky, which that is totally fine, we just want to make sure that the gates do not go where the fold is going to be, or we're going to end up with a hot mess. So I'm just sort of kind of making sure that where they get lined up to get glued on, that the fold is still going to be okay. So once you've got it lined up where you think you want it to be, grab a charcoal pencil, or really any pencil, it doesn't matter, and just make a couple little marks so that way you can line your gate back up. Now I want to cover it, the backing of it. And remember when we made this gorgeous tissue paper? It's like Deli paper, but it just has this luscious coloring and crinkling. If you missed that video, I will link it down in the description box below. But I'm going to take this extra piece and I'm going to glue it onto the back of our beautiful scroll work gate, and this is going to make the gate pop a little bit off of the page, which is lovely. Now I'm using an Oohoo glue stick, and it does get a little bit messy, so I'm just going to take a baby wipe and wipe up the rest of the glue that kind of came out of the edges. Now the beauty of the glue stick, especially Oohoo, is it goes on blue so you know where it went, but then it dries clear. So if you missed any spots, don't worry about it. And now I'm just going to cut off the excess and then do the same thing with our other gate. Now that we have both of our gates covered in the backing, look at that, isn't that gorgeous? I'm already thinking cathedral or something, I don't know, I think it's beautiful. So now the process of trying to stick it on. I racked my brain going, what am I going to use to make it stick to this textured brickwork? But I'm going to take some double-sided tape and I'm going to stick it on the one main side and partway down the other, and then I'm going to Oohoo glue stick in the middle. I'm very surprised actually how well Oohoo works when it's sticking onto textured pieces. So I just kind of slathered it on there, and now I'm going to press down my gate really well, make sure it's lined up, and then if you have any little extra piece you need, like in the front here wasn't sticking, I'm just going to glue that back on there, open it up, and then stick just a little something heavy on it to help it adhere well. And then just repeat the same thing for the other side. There! Now our gates are glued together. We have a beautiful fold, so that's wonderful. And now I want to, whoops, I had my book upside down there. That would have been bad. So now that we have this done, I want to kind of have these hold together. So I found my little mini eyelets, and I picked out two that matched my gate work. They're kind of an old vintage style. And I'm just going to use my crocodile, line it up with the middle, and then just make a hole punch. If you don't have a crocodile, you could use a regular hole punch. You could skip this step entirely. This journal is yours and you can do whatever you want with it, but I'm just going to show you how I would like to finish it. So now that I've got that one done, we're going to do the same thing on this side and just punch the hole, pop in the eyelet, and set it. Super duper easy. If you don't have a crocodile, you could always use an eyelet setter. I believe those are in the sewing department in most stores. So now that we've got that done, you could use twine, ribbon, whatever, but I have this sparkle ribbon that was sitting on my desk, and I'm thinking, oh yes, I need to have a little sparkle on this page. So I'm just measuring out how long I would like the ribbon to be. And then I'm going to measure it against the other ribbon and cut it so that way both sides are the same length. Now I'm going to fold one of the pieces in half, and I'm going to roll it, push it through one side, and then open up a little loop and pull the rest of the ribbon through it. And then just gently pull it, because remember this is paper, we don't want to rip the eyelet right out of there. So let me show you that again. Fold it in half, and then I'm just going to kind of roll that end there so it's easy to put through our eyelet. And open it up so you have a hole, and then just take the ends of the ribbon and pull it through it. Super easy, and you get a perfect knot every time. And now to tie it together, we're going to tie both of the ribbons together, but then I'm just going to take one ribbon from each side and then make a little bow. And then that way we have this beautiful ribbon that hangs down and then a cute little bow on top as well. So I'm just going to futz with it here a little bit, and then I'll push it up in the screen. Sorry about that. There you go. And there we go. And then we have some of the shimmer ribbon that hangs out below. So we have these wonderful gates that will open up, and next week we're going to create some magical layers inside. I'm kind of excited about this, you guys. Like, I'm going to just mess with my bow a little bit more. We've got the ends hanging out here. I'm just going to pull it down there. Then we close our book and we have just, look at little shimmers hanging out. Loving it. So now I wanted to have just a little bit more details because, you know, I just can't ever stop. I just got to keep going. I'm bringing back that charcoal stick, and I'm just going to go around some of the brickwork to kind of make it pop just a little bit more. You could totally skip this step. You don't even have to go this crazy, but I just love the detail of it so much, and I just wanted it to pop a little bit more. So I'm taking that and then using a smudger, and I'm just going to kind of press that charcoal into it. So once you've done both sides, isn't that cool? Oh, I just wanted to keep going, but I thought just little hints here and there. Then I was thinking, you know what would have been even faster and super easier was if I just took like a Stabilo Woody or a Stabilo All and just kind of smudged some of the black paint around. So now I have a baby wipe and I'm just rubbing it in there. Now this kind of took away some of the detail of the brickwork that I just did, but that's okay. Again, you could do this or you could skip this step. It's totally up to you. And that is pretty much going to finish up today's video. Thank you guys so much for coming along and being stonemasons with me this week. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Here's what it looks like with a little piece of white paper behind it. I had so much fun creating with you guys today, and I hope you'll tune in next week when we create whatever magical wonderland will open up behind these gates. Until next time, happy creating.